I was 17 years old the first time I stepped into the wilderness with a bivy pack and bow in hand. I could not have foretold how this experience would change the course of my life. The pungent smell of boot-crushed sage, stunning mountain vistas, the soft rustle of aspen leaves and a gentle wind heightens my senses and stirs deep emotions in my soul. It is my time to wander the wilderness, sustained by the contents of the pack on my back, seeking out private solitude. It is good to be back in the mountains, where the only limitations that are drawn are by unit boundaries, ambition, and determination. They do not care about your success or failure, your safety or your survival. It does not matter the thickness of your wallet, only the size of your heart and the amount of grit you possess. The experience is yours to make. It is this missing piece that makes me whole again. A week in the mountains heals the soul. As John Muir once said, "The mountains are calling, and I must go." For me, really there is no choice. It has been a long off-season. It is good to be back, bow in hand, once again reconnecting with my roots, the dormant predator awakened.
Opening day here in Colorado. We've probably seen 18 or 20 bucks in this basin we're in. Most of them are all up the head of the basin, but we got one that's bedded right below some rim rock. Absolutely perfect spot for a stalk. So it's not the biggest one in the basin, but it's a nice big 4x3 with double eye guards. He's probably 26 or 27 inches wide. Like I said, an ideal spot for a stalk. So we're going to drop down off these cliffs in here, make a way over there, and try and make it happen. Oh man, what an absolutely perfect scenario. Came right over the top on that buck. He had no idea I was there. I spotted an antler tine coming up from behind a rock. I just had to maneuver around to get this one rock out of my way, and I had a clear shot at his body. And I was about halfway through getting around that rock, and I felt the wind start to eddy. And I was like, oh no. So I just stood real still, and I saw his antler start to fidget like this, and I was like, uh-oh, here it comes. And he stood up and took a few quick steps forward, and there was a big bush that was covering almost his whole body. I could see about a softball size hole into his vitals, and I elected to take the shot because I figured I could sneak it in there, and I knew that as soon as that wind touched him again, he was going to be out of there. And wouldn't you know it, my arrow deflected off a branch and it was stuck in the ground sideways there. That was about a, I don't know, 15 or 18 foot shot. I was right on top of that deer. That was so cool. But well, it's just opening day. We have like 9 more days after today, so plenty of opportunities, although that kind of opportunity is hard to come by. Got 2 bucks bedded over on this side hill down here, a 4x3 and a nice 4x4. The 4x3 is closer to us, maybe a better position for a stalk, but I really want that big 4x4. So we're going to go give him a try first. If it doesn't pan out, then we'll have a fallback plan and come back on that 4x3.
After blowing out the big 4x4, I refocused my efforts on my second choice buck. As I stepped off another section of rim rock, a small buck exploded out of his bed tucked under the rock, literally 3 feet below me. My next step would have been on his back. At just 15 feet, the buck still couldn't figure out what it was that disrupted his afternoon nap. It's close-up experiences like this that make all the pre-season hard work worthwhile. I'll use these memories from this and other hunts to sustain my spirit through the long winter months. Oh man, I'll tell you, starting to feel snake bit. I got down, I was on top of those deer for over an hour on that rock there and maneuvering around trying to get in position. I was on the only spot in this whole mountain that didn't have any rocks. I had little pea-sized rocks I was throwing at that doe trying to get her to move out of the way or stand up or do something to get that buck going. Finally, that buck, I saw antler tines come out on the right side, so I start getting in position for a shot for the right, and then 20 seconds later, here he comes out on the left. And so I started to, he spotted me, bolted, ran out about 20 yards. I start drawing my bow, and I hear a little tick, and I felt my arrow move on my string, and I looked down, and I saw the ear of my nock roll off my finger. I had half a nock. It's a heck of a time for an equipment failure. I must have banged one of them when I was going down there or something and cracked it, because boy oh boy, what a absolute heartbreaker. Had a probably 22, 23 yard shot broadside, and off he went. This is really getting discouraging. We're on our way back to our base camp this morning. We had glassed up a bunch of bucks in the bowl, probably 4 or 5 of them. Some nice bucks, but they all bedded in the timber, and I lost one. I couldn't find him. And we were almost back to the ridge, to go over the ridge, and I looked down and spotted where he bedded. And he's probably been laying there for at least 3 hours. So he's in a perfect spot right now. So I want to get it going and make sure I can get in on this guy before he gets up. I can't begin to put into words my disappointment, discouragement. We're now, I think, 7 days into our 9-day hunt, and I've had some great opportunities, and my luck just it's in the tank. I got right in on that buck. I threw every rock in my pocket trying to get that buck to stand up except for one. I had one more shot. I figured, well, I better make this one land close so he gets up. I might have landed a little too close. So he stands up,
I was expecting him to be looking away at the direction the rock landed, and instead when he stood up, he was looking straight ahead, and he caught my movement about the last quarter of my draw, and I finished my draw, and he was hitting the gas, and I shot, and I went right behind him. And what can I say? He saw the deer. He is a bomber, the absolute bomber, and that thing, what an incredible situation. He was bedded facing away the whole time. I had good gusts of wind to help me to ease in on my stock. Just an amazing situation. You know, stick bow hunting is supposed to be tough, but is it supposed to be this tough? Saturday, the second to last day of our trip here. We've got 3 bucks bedded up in 3 different locations, so we have 3 different potential opportunities, 2 4x3s and a 4x4. So it's probably about 9 o'clock. We've got them settled in here, and we're gonna go start this stalk here. It's a long one, so.
The first 2 stalks didn't play out, so I was left with what would likely be my last stalk of the season. We'd been hunting this basin hard, and I knew it was unlikely any of the deer would return after I'd finished clearing out the basin again. As if I needed any further pressure, I was pretty sure my tireless cameraman, Steve Tadden, would mutiny if I blew another gimme opportunity. I began the stalk, feeling all the pressure of the last week on my shoulders.
Broken. Check that out. It must have been, when I saw him run off, it was about like that through his back there, so it must have pushed out. We're about 40 yards down the trail here, and boy, it's, oh yeah, I think I see some bubbles here. That's a good sign. We're on. Here, oh, there's a lot of blood there. More blood here. Landed right here. More blood here. Oh yeah, nice stripe right here. We should be down here pretty soon. Oh, there he is! All right! Man, right there. Oh, sweet. Man, he went down right after I lost him. Probably not 40 yards further. I can't wait to get my hands on him here. Boy, I'll tell you, holding this buck in my hands is a huge reward for the amount of effort that we've put out. We've been hunting between 12 and 13,000 feet for the last 8 days here. We have 1 more full day of hunting. I've had a number of blown opportunities that any normal bow hunter would give their front teeth for, and it's just excruciatingly painful to experience those. You know, executing a good shot, having my arrow deflected not once but twice, and just out here pounding the hills, hours and hours behind the binoculars and spotting scope, looking at bucks, planning stalking routes, having the wind give us up. You know, it's been a challenging hunt, to say the least. Just total physical exhaustion at the end of every day, and to end the hunt, you know, on the 8th day here, 1 more full day of hunting, I was really seriously wondering if I was going to be eating my tag, and I was not feeling very good about it. It was really tough. This hunt's been extremely challenging, physically and mostly mentally. You know, not to leave anything out on the physical end. It's been punishing, but just the emotional and the mental challenges of a backcountry hunt, and then to have so many good opportunities at such big bucks. bucks of this size and even bigger bucks, and to come up on the short end of the stick. Just holding this guy in my hand, man, I tell you what, this is like sitting on cloud 9.